Irina Dirah binti Samso. My number matric is A20A1753. Statistics is a branch of applied mathematics that involves the collection, descriptions, analysis, and inference of calculation from quantitative data. The mathematical theory behind statistics really heavy on differential and integrated calculus, linear algebra, and probability theory. Data unit of information, often numeric, that are collected through observations. In more technical sense, data are a set of value of qualitative or quantitative variable about one or more person or object, while a single of data is a single value of a single variable. The data is taken from the Department of Statistics Malaysia. That data consists of live birth by state administrative district and sex 2018. The data source is secondary data collected and recorded by the Department of Statistics Malaysia. This data is reused. The number of gender, female and male, is around 51,209 in these populations. A population is defined as a number of all organisms of the same group or species who live in a particular geographical area and are capable of interbreeding.
I'm Nurul Sarah binti Hawawi. My matric number is A2A1876. So, I will continue with 2.0. In 2.0, we must know how to construct a frequency distribution. There are 5 steps to construct a frequency distribution. The first step that we must to know is to decide the number of classes. The formula that we had to use is 2k greater than n. As example, the data of live births by state administrative and set year in 2018, there are 30 numbers in the data. So, we can know that our n is equal to 30. If we make k is equal to 5, so the classes we will use is 5. Then, 2 power of 5 is equal to 32, which is greater than our n, that is 30. So the number that we choose for our classes is 5. From the histogram graph, we can see that live births by state, administrative district, and sex as the title. For the frequency, the first midpoint is 834.5. For the first frequency is 40, followed by 7, followed by 5 and 0. For the last one is 4. We can say that the frequency is decreased because of some factors. From a algebraic graph, we can see that the cumulative frequency is increased from 0 to 40 to 21 to 26 and remain 26, and after that increase to 30. The first cumulative frequency is 14 and also 14 for the first frequency. For the next, we can see from the graph, the cumulative frequency always increase because low living cost in a certain state such as Melaka, Pulau Pinang, or also Negeri Sembilan.
Hi, my name is Nadia Wita Asgari. My matric number is A20A1576. So now I will continue my part. For measure of center tendency, there are 3 main measures. We will start with mean first. For the mean, firstly, we must have a table of class and frequency, which can be from our data selection. For the formula, x equal sum fx divide n. F for frequency of data, x for midpoint of a class, and n the total of the frequency. So for the solution, first we must have a column for x, which is midpoint, a column of frequency, and a column of fx. And then insert the value data into the formula. So for this part, we have the answer is 1857.5. Next is median. The formula of median is Lm n divide 2 minus sum Fm minus 1 divide Fm in bracket times C. So the Lm is lower class boundary of median class. Sum Fm minus 1 is cumulative frequency before median class. Fm is frequency of the median. C is class size. For the first step, we must find the location of median class. So n divide 2, we can get the class. So for this data, the median class is 1300 until 2229. For the step 2, we must find the Lm, which is lower class boundary, so we can get at the column. Step 3, find the class size, which is upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. For the step 4, find the sum Fm minus 1 and Fm, and then calculate the median using the formula. So we get the answer is 1432.36 people. For the mode, the formula is Lm plus the delta 1 divide delta 1 plus delta 2 in bracket times C. But have 5 steps, which is the step 1 is find the location of modal class. So we can choose the highest frequency on data. So this data, the median class is 370 until 9299. And then find the Lm. We can get it from the column. And then the class size, upper class boundary minus lower class boundary. And step 4, find a delta 1 and delta 2 from the column. And step 5, calculate the median by using the formula. So we can get 989.5. Next, measure of position. For this part, we have 3 points. First, deciles. Second, percentiles. Third, quartiles. So for the quartiles, we must have the column of class, frequency, cumulative, lower boundary, and upper boundary. So first step, we must find the location of quartile 1 and quartile 3. So we can get the position. So the lastly is measure of variation. We have 3 parts. First is range. The formula of range is maximum data minus maximum data entry. So we can get this data from the sample. So the second part is variance. So we have 2 formula at this part, which is population variance and sample variance. So for this part, we use the sample variance formula. So the first is we must have the column of x of class x, x power of 2, f, fx, and fx power of 2. So the lastly is standard deviation. So the formula is the answer of variance square root. And then we can get the answer is 17424.23.
My name is Rasnawati. So today SPSS is short form for statistical package for the social science, and it used by various kinds of researchers for complex statistical data analysis. Point 1 is measure of central tendency. The table shows data of mean, median, and mode shows the difference result because the SPSS cannot read the data accurately, where the manual value is smaller than SPSS value. Next, measure of position. Standard deviation and variance show the same, where the manual result calculation is the same as the SPSS system. And the last point is measure of variation. The result SPSS for data simple variance and standard deviation is not the same as manual because the SPSS cannot read the data accurately, where the simple variance manual is high than SPSS system, so is the value standard deviation.
The hypothesis testing, there are 5 steps. For the step 1 is state null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. The step 2, state the level of significance, which is 0.05, and step 3, test the statistic with ANOVA. And then the step 4, decision rules, we get the critical regression, which is 3.35. And then the step 5, the conclusion, reject HO. Therefore, there is a significance difference among the groups. And lastly, the t-test. There is various category under a field such as state, administration district, and sex. By using SPSS, we use the 95% confidence interval, that is 0.05 significance level, to do the confidence interval, and the test value is 0.
My name is Muhammad Zudin Benji Abaka. My metric number is A20A1447. I want to present about 4.3 correlation analysis. For the explanation, as the result SPPS, the person product moment correlation table is between state, administrative district, and set. The value of R between state and set is 0.00. The value in administrative district is 0.00, and the value R of set is 1. This shows the positive collaboration between population, state, administrative district, and sets.
As for the confidence interval, we must test the normality. To test the normality, in this case, we use Kolmogorov's meanness. The Kolmogorov's meanness, as we can see from the table, the test of normality on life of bird gives a value P of 0.007, which is less than 0.01. Thus, assumption of normality of life of bird is not met, or we can say is rejectional. I will explain about the coefficient. The things that we must know in coefficient is we must read from the box of 95.01% confident interval for B. In that box, there are content of lower bound and also upper bound. First, for the state, the 90% confident interval for state is negative 3004.969 for the lower bound, and for the upper bound is 194.977, where the value of 0 does not fall within the interval, again indicating state is significant predictor, whereas the 90% confidence interval for administrative district is negative 126.152 for the lower bound, and for the upper bound is 445.419, within the value 0 does not fall within the interval, again indicating administrative district is a significant predictor. Then, for the sex, the 90% confident interval for sex is, for the lower bound is negative 1066.984, and for the upper bound is 871.518, where the value 0 does not fall within the interval, again indicating sex is a significant predictor.
Theoretical modeling. Multiple linear regression. Multiple linear regression, also known simply as multiple regress comparison is a statistical technique that uses several explanatory variables to predict the outcome of a response variable. Association between life of birth by three variables is state, administrative district, and sex. Among the independent variables, there is a high level of association between life of birth and administrative district.
In conclusion, several methods were used to calculate the data of the population by state, administrative district, and set from 2018, such as data agreement. For the graphically representation, two types of graph were used, which is histogram graph and OGIF or cumulative frequency graph. For the manual calculation, the measure of central tendency were used to calculate median and mode. For age group population, where the mean is 42.34, median is 1432.36, and mode is 9.5.